your boy Yinka, back here again with another little video, little reaction. As I usually say, I'm not going to talk too much, so let's go.
What is a woman?
Yeah, of course I know what a woman is. Adult human female.
It's not difficult, is it, Angelica? I mean, that is what a woman is.
I mean, I don't know why you're obsessed with defining it. Like, what is a man? Like, why do we need these arbitrary...
A man is a male adult human. I mean, that's it.
Right, okay. I don't know that we need
these are just biological facts, but they're just facts. They're not arguable points, are they?
But I think we have a right to self-identify. And you said you want to...
As what?
If you would like to be a woman, you can identify as a woman. I don't know why there is such an issue around...
We've literally just seen a male rapist use that scam to get himself put into a female prison where he could attack vulnerable women inside a female prison, when even his ex-wife said it was all a scam. Which
is a terrible, very distressing, isolated incident. And I think it's easy to take that and say that means that no one can identify as a woman. And
but it's not an isolated incident, though.
But it's
42% of trans-identifying prisoners in prison are in there for sex crimes. There's actually an advantage, evidently, to identifying as a female, because they never identify as male, because somehow male prisons seem less appealing to them. It's really weird. Anyway.
That is very interesting. Oh, wow. Very interesting that they don't seem to transition to being a male and go into the male prisons. They want to transition and become females and then end up in the female prisons. And it's very funny that majority of them are also sex offenders. How convenient for them to always want to be females and go to the female prisons. And people like this woman are the ones who allow stuff like that to happen.
But
is it limitless, this self-identity?
It's not totally limitless.
What's the limit?
When you're talking about International Women's Day, I don't know why we take the conversation around International Women's Day and make it about this.
But if anyone,
there's so many benefits.
Right, but if
to
anyone,
having a
according
day.
to you, can identify as a woman, anyone can, right?
I don't see a problem with.
Just literally put the hand up and say I'm a woman.
But it's not an easy thing to do, to go out into
Actually,
the world.
It's very easy.
Easy.
You might think.
How does she know whether it's easy or not? Have you experienced this? So how do you know whether it's not easy, or is it, if it is easy? There's some people who would say that they're the opposite gender and you don't know their motives. You don't know whether they actually really feel like that way, or you don't know whether they don't feel that way. So I don't know who you are to tell them it's not an easy thing to do. You don't know how easy it is. Have you experienced it? No, you haven't. So where are you getting this type of reasoning from that you don't know whether it's easy or not?
You might think it's easy to say, but to decide to do that, to say
what
this
does
is
doing
who,
it involve?
Whatever that person decides, but to
Does
go
it
out
involve
into the world and say I don't identify as perhaps the sex I was born as.
So why can't I identify?
Not...
Okay, why can't I identify as a black lesbian?
Well, firstly, I mean, it was.
Well, I'm serious. If I could.
Did she really just say firstly skin color? This is what I mean. How stupid are these people? But you can identify as a female, but the thing that differentiates him between being a female and a male is his biology, his genitals. But skin color, it's a different thing. Very interesting.
If I can identify as anything without any need to prove I'm actually what that is, why can't I on International Women's Day say I'm Piers Morgan, I'm a black lesbian?
I think taking it to a kind of absurd status,
I think
we're
that's
talking about quite a
with
strong
respect, I think that
change.
you'd already opened the absurdity door by saying it is limitless. You can do what you like. Anyone can say I'm a woman. So I simply ask you, why can't I?
I mean, this point kind of ridicules trans people to an extent.
Actually, I think what you said ridicules trans people, because actually people who go through the full process of transition, who actually go through what we used to call a sex change, which I don't think you can muck around with original biology, but those who actually go through surgical procedure over a number of years, I've got great respect for that very difficult journey they go on. I have zero respect for people who just wallop their hand up and go, suddenly, I'm a woman and I want all the rights that a woman has, and I want to compete, say, in sport. I'm a 6'4" athlete, sprinter, swimmer, whatever, who's competed very mediocrely in male sport. I now want to come in and crush women in swimming pools and in sprinting events and break all their records, perhaps irrevocably, just by saying, I'm a woman. I think that is the absurdity you were talking about. My response was to say, well, if it's limitless, why can't I then say whatever I want to say? And you say immediately, as I knew you would, well, that's ridiculous. But
funny that when he brought up skin color, that's ridiculous. But we all know if there was a day and age to come where people start identifying as different races and it was the majority, and you get ridiculed from if you don't allow people to identify as the opposite race or a different race, you would be one of the same people who will start saying, oh, that's fine, it's normal. But because you know you will receive backlash from the fact that you agree with all this craziness with people changing their genders, and because I feel this way tomorrow I can change my gender, you know you'll receive backlash from it. You just agree and go with the motion, and that's the issue.
But my point is, you were being ridiculous.
Well, that's your opinion. You can think I'm ridiculous, but I don't think you can say, well, it has to
I don't know why I am, but you're not.
I don't think you have to say it's post-op is the only way that someone's allowed to identify
Well,
as
the
trans.
original
This is
standard
not
for,
us
hold on,
to
the original
decide.
standard for being transgender was being diagnosed with gender dysphoria, which is a legitimate condition. And now it's being, oh, however way you feel. So if you feel on Tuesday you're a woman and on Thursday you're a pizza, that's perfectly valid. But to you, that's ridiculous. And I want to know why that is ridiculous. We should be talking about actual women on International Women's Day. That's not crazy.
I mean, I agree. I think, but your idea of an actual woman...
The chromosomes, it's pretty
It's an
straightforward.
adult female. It's not
The
difficult.
chromosomes are a pretty good indication.
I don't think you have to be biologically female to identify
Then
as a
you are
woman.
wrong, because then I can identify as a fox.
Like, is that hard to understand? Your idea of a female, and then if you are to ask this same person what a woman is or what a female is, she won't have an answer for it. You won't have an answer. So then the people who are actually women are being degraded by people like you, and it's very sad. Because as she said, if she wants to identify as a fox tomorrow, what is stopping her from becoming a fox? As you said, well, your ideal of a fox might not be what she believes it is, but she identifies as a fox. So what's the issue?
Yeah.
But again, it's
You
a kind
can.
of an absurd point.
How many?
Like,
Well, let me ask you this.
what's
Let me
an
ask you this,
animal?
Angelica. How many genders are there?
Two.
There are 2 genders.
Oh.
Wow. So you don't believe in transgenders at all?
Well, I think there are...
Whoa,
two
hang on.
different-
Whoa. There are 2 genders?
Well, it's taught in...
Well, you say, well, you've literally just launched this huge defence of transgenderism. Now you've eradicated it.
I think
If there are 2 genders, you mean male and female, right?
there's gender fluidity. I will...
Fluid between what?
Between what?
Between different identities, and we can choose different
You
identities.
see how difficult this is, though?
But it is difficult, but I think making...
But it's not
there's-
difficult until you make it difficult. You see, the BBC has done teaching videos to 11 and 12-year-olds where they say there are 100 genders. One of them was astrogender, which is an affinity with the stars and the galaxy. My response to that on the last show I did was to say, well, in that case, I identify as a 2-spirit penguin. I was then told I was being ridiculous, but I made the same point. The ridiculousness is the BBC teaching kids there are 100 genders. There aren't. It is absurd.
That's the craziness that you bring into the world when you start positing that there's different genders and gender is fluid, and tomorrow you can be a female and the next day you can be a male, and there's just a whole bunch of confusion. But anyway, that was video for today. Another reaction, another video. As I usually say, like the video as much as possible. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Comment down below. I reply to all comments, so comment down below. Follow me on Instagram at Yinka That Guy. And we out.